Behind the scenes at Aurum Corp, Ava had just started her new job at Aurum Corp. On her first day, she was assigned to shadow someone in a department she had never really understood: internal audit. She walked into a quiet office with glass walls and neat desks. Mr. Lawson, a senior internal auditor, looked up from his laptop and smiled, gesturing for her to sit.
"So, Ava,"
he began,
"we're not just about ticking boxes or looking at accounts. Internal audit is like being the organization's in-house detective and advisor. We're part of the internal control system, but our role is independent. We examine and evaluate everything, not just the finances."
He explained that their job was to add value and keep an eye on all aspects of the business, even areas people didn't expect, like environmental practices, social responsibility, or how well teams followed procedures. Ava was surprised. She had always thought auditors just looked at numbers.
"We look at the systems, how they're designed, how they're run, and how they can be improved. We test transactions and balances, make sure we're operating efficiently, and check if the company is following laws and internal rules. We even get involved in identifying business risks and helping management manage them."
Mr. Lawson leaned in.
"But for all this to work, two things are non-negotiable: independence and appraisal. We can't be involved in the actual work we're assessing, and we must report our findings honestly, even if it makes someone uncomfortable. That's how real value is added."
Over the next few weeks, Ava followed internal audit teams across the company. One team was doing what Lawson called an operational audit, checking how well a department was using its resources and whether things could be done more efficiently. Another team was doing a systems audit, where they tested whether internal controls were being followed. They called it compliance testing, and Ava watched as they checked if staff were signing off travel claims correctly.
"Even if the maths is right,"
a staff member told her.
"if someone forgets to tick the control box, that's a red flag."
Then there was the substantive testing, where auditors dug into the figures themselves, tracing numbers from reports to the actual ledger. Ava liked this part. It felt like solving a puzzle. One day, she was brought into a transaction audit, a more intense one. It was focused entirely on catching fraud, and it didn't rely on systems at all, just the cold hard data. The lead auditor whispered the word
probity
to Ava: honesty, integrity, and told her that sometimes records lie, and it's their job to catch them. As the weeks went by, Ava noticed that internal auditors weren't always welcome in every room. Some departments hesitated to cooperate, thinking they were being watched. Mr. Lawson would calmly explain that the audit team was there to help the company stay safe, efficient, and legally compliant, not to get anyone in trouble.
"That's why we report to the audit committee of the board,"
he told her.
"not managers. That way, our voice can't be silenced."
He showed her a report where the team had recommended changes to an outdated inventory system.
"We don't implement these things ourselves. That would ruin our independence. But we do say what needs to change."
She also learned that not every company needs an internal audit function, especially small ones. But if they don't have one, they must explain why and how they're keeping things in check without it. Factors like the size of the business, the number of employees, and the complexity of operations all play a role. If things get too complicated, risky, or there are too many unexpected incidents, then an internal audit team becomes necessary. One day, a new group arrived, the external auditors. They were sharp, serious, and not employed by the company. Ava was curious. Mr. Lawson introduced her to one of them.
"Their job,"
he explained,
"is to look at the company's books and give an independent opinion on whether the financial statements are true and fair. They work for the shareholders, not management."
"So, how are they different from us?"
Ava asked.
"Well,"
said Mr. Lawson,
"while we help improve the business from the inside, they come in from the outside to check the numbers. We're ongoing, always here. They visit once or twice a year. Our work is broad. Theirs is focused on the financials."
The external auditor nodded.
"We are here to satisfy legal requirements, especially for listed companies. But we can rely on internal audit. If their work is solid, we don't have to do everything from scratch.
They explained that to rely on the internal audit department, they would assess how independent and competent the internal auditors were, what kind of work they did, and whether it was carried out with professional care. If so, they'd reduce their own testing and instead use internal audits work as part of their evidence. As the audit season wrapped up, Ava felt like she had seen the true backbone of a company. Internal audit, she realized, wasn't just about rules. It was about understanding the company, protecting it from risks, and guiding it toward better decisions. And while external auditors were necessary, internal auditors were the ones truly in tune with how the business ran day to day.
You see now?
Mr. Lawson said with a smile as he handed Ava her final project.
We don't just audit. We make sure this ship stays afloat.